Your time is up, my time is now. You can't see me, my time is now. It's the franchise where I'm shining now. You can't see me, my time is now. In case you forgot or fell off, I'm still hot, knock your shell off. My money stacked fat, plus I can't turn the swell off. The franchise doing big business, I live this, it's automatic. I win this, so you hear those horns, you finish. A soldier, and I stay under you fighting. Plus I'm storming on you chumps like I'm thunder and lightning. Ain't no way you breaking me, kid, I'm harder than nails. Plus I keep it on lock like I'm part of the jail. I'm slaughtering stale competition. I got the whole block wishing they could run with my division, but they gone fishing with no bait. Kid, your boy hold weight. I got my soul straight. I brush your mouth like Colgate. In any weather, I'm never better. Your boy's so hot, you never catch me in the next man's sweater. If they hate, let them hate. I drop your whole clan. Lay your ass down for the 3-second tag. Your time is up, my time is now. You can't see me, my time is now. It's the franchise where I'm shining now. You can't see me, my time is now.
Be what it's gonna be. It's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Louise, geez, Louise, geez, Louise.
It's gonna be what it's gonna be.
You already know what we got going on.
It's gonna be.
You already know what we got going on. Broadcasting from the Gene Free Studio in Dix Hills, New York. You're listening to AM Entertainers. On the FTC.
We're not gonna do the beat, bro?
Huh?
Entertainers. Entertainers.
On the FTC sound stream, the sound of Five Towns College. I'm your host for today's episode, Adrian Alonzo, with my co-host
Meech.
Certainly.
Shout out to our boy Daryl for doing the camera today.
Yeah, he's helping us out. Big appreciate to Daryl.
We love you, Daryl.
Yes, sir.
Say it back, boy. Appreciate you.
And for today's guest, we got Frank. We'll get into who he is, and we'll introduce him better later. But first, you already know what we got to do.
Of course.
We got to pray.
So
now,
basically,
yeah.
You want to say? I bet. Basically, we're Christian men. We believe in God. But at the end of the day, we don't force no one to pray with us. If you want to pray with us, that's your decision. But at the end of the day, this is our decision that we've made as a collective to pray. Frank, if you would like to join in, you may join in. If you don't want to join in, that's perfectly fine. You know what I'm saying? But it's just a way to start off the show fresh and recoup. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, yeah, man.
You want me to do it?
Of course, brother. It's your show. Get lit.
Lord, thank you for all the pieces you've put into our life to make this podcast episode happen. I ask that you please bless this episode with good fortune, goodwill, and just a good energy and just a good conversation, Lord. Lord, once again, thank you for all that you've done. Thank you for all that you've promised. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen.
Okay, so today's episode, we have, let me get a drum roll. We have filmmaker, writer, editor, cinematographer, top 15 humans of all time, right next to Jeff Hardy. He's not going through tables, but he's going through cameras. Welcome. Frank Veltry. Okay, now that we're recording.
Thank you for such a lovely
Yeah,
intro there.
of course.
For the second time, you're welcome, brother.
You deserve it, man.
Man.
Once again, you're top 15 humans of all time.
Right next to Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
Right. You know, Jeff Hardy's like,
Just a little above me. I get it.
yeah,
I
you know,
can't blame him.
it's just a scaling
He's
thing.
a tough guy. I can't judge
I
him.
mean, hey now. But yeah, man, welcome to the show. I know me and you talked about having you on for a minute, you know, and I'm glad we can finally get this episode done.
Yes,
So, Frank, obviously, you attend Five Towns College, and you're a film and television major. Talk to me about how you found out about Five Towns and what brought you to be a film and television major specifically.
Okay. So growing up, I always wanted to work in film. When I was young, it was originally when I was in high school, I wanted to be a stuntman. So me and my friends would always do these things to kind of train me to be a stuntman. But I also really loved writing and just filming things with them. Like we would just always be doing stuff, and I always had my camera out, just locked in on it. And so that's why I always enjoyed film. but I didn't originally come to school for it because a lot of my family members and the people around me said like, it's not that likely. Like it's not. They thought it was at the same level as being like in Metallica. Like you have to be like a rock star. That's what they thought. And also my mic is off. Actually, I think no, it's not. I'm stupid.
No, you're fine.
But so I originally
I love this episode already.
lots of technical difficulties. But so I originally put it on the back burner, and I went to school for engineering, and I was just very bored of it. I didn't enjoy it, so I left school because I thought school just wasn't my thing. I went into construction. I got a few jobs on film sets as a PA, and it kind of made me realize it was not that far of a goal to obtain. Like it's entirely possible.
Yes, sir.
And I worked on a few sets. I moved into like the transportation department more so. And I wanted to get more into the skills of it. A few things, like one thing led to another, and I ended up kind of putting film on the back burner. And I was just like trying to focus on getting a more stable career with more stable hours. And then I worked in an office and I was just miserable.
Yeah.
And then I started looking into film schools. I found Five Towns. It was within a 25-minute drive from my home. I visited the school, loved the campus, loved what was offered here, and I decided I was going to come here.
Honestly, inspirational.
True
Very
that.
inspirational.
True that. Brother, let me ask you something, though. You're a 5 times college student, but you're also a writer.
Yeah.
Filmmaker, but you're also a writer. And I know you specifically like comedy. Tell me how. Well, you know what? Let me stop it because this boy always likes to throw my knees to bus. Adrian did some stalking on you.
I did.
He
I know where you live.
He knows where you live.
I'm in your walls.
Yikes.
I wish you put the camera on his face when he made that face, honestly, because that was so creepy. But listen, Adrian did some stalking. I don't know how he found this out. I told Adrian, stop being weird, stop following people home, but he don't listen to me, right?
Hey, man. Makes a good living.
But you're a writer, right? And you like comedy, right? So tell me how you know a joke is going. Tell me how you know a joke is going to be funny or a skit is going to be funny. Like basically SNL, all of them. Tell me how you know.
Because like comedy is very like subjective.
Yeah.
It is very subjective. I think it's more so what I find funny is a lot of my friends are just very random people and random situations just arise with them.
NPCs?
And things that...
Don't call them that.
Just asking.
I wouldn't call them NPCs. I'd call them like... My friends are like comedians. That's what I would call them. They're not pursuing it as a career.
Harvey.
But they're some of the funniest people I know, and I've been hanging out with these people all my life. And I really just kind of take from things that I find funny that they do, and then I think of different situations. Like, comedy is subjective, but the way I kind of like build my confidence with it is I show a script to somebody or I tell a joke to somebody, and I bounce it back with people. And if they find it funny, then I'm like, okay, this is good. If people don't find it funny, I'm like, okay, it needs tweaking. Also, I have a pretty obscure sense of humor where I like when things like kind of poke fun at just inappropriate things. Like I like, you might notice like in some of my sketches, a lot of the joke is just the characters are bad people. I grew up watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and that show I loved because it was so funny because all the characters were so idiotic and just horrible people to the point where it's like bad things are happening to them, but it's funny because it's kind of like a karma type of thing.
Yeah.
I think that's why I'm kind of confident with what I write, but I also just like writing bad people because if you make it if you know how to frame it, any situation can be funny. Like the worst situations, like every bad thing that's ever happened to me, I try to turn it into a joke because you can always find the comedy in like tragedy.
Yeah.
Really. That's what I think, at least.
I respect that.
I get what you mean. I'll be doing the same thing too. Sometimes like the worst thing could happen to me, you know, like it could be like the most hopeless thing and I could just turn it into a joke like so quick. And like, because I just, you know, life is hard and I don't want to make it harder for myself. So I like to just make it into a funny situation so then it could lead me to like have some sort of enjoyment in it or find some sort of happiness within it. Because like, then if I don't, I'm just depressed, you know? And
I feel like I'd be scared to make something bad in my life a joke because I'd be scared like, damn, what if karma hits me or something?
The way I see it is, are you gonna let something bad kind of like dictate how you feel and all your emotions? Like,
That's facts.
life is short, and there's no reason to kind of dwell on things,
Facts.
which everybody does it.
Facts.
But if you can kind of try to find the levity in it, like I've told Adrian about an injury I've had that was like
Yeah.
pretty bad,
We're gonna talk about it.
and I just turned into a joke every time I talk about it, because like it like somewhat ruined my life for like a minute, but I turned it into a joke because I'm fine, I'm alive, I'm moving,
man.
I'm still standing, I'm Elton John, like I'm
Yes,
not
sir.
gonna dwell on it and beat myself up for it. You got to just stand up and keep moving.
100%.
That's kind of how it is.
100%. I believe that.
I feel that. And, speaking of that injury, like, how did you get through it? Because if you want to, like, elaborate on it, or if, like, you feel comfortable.
I won't go too in depth about how I got hurt or what the injury was, because that's a little, like, not too personal, but it's just like, I'll share it with friends, but I don't feel like sharing it on, like, a
I
radio
feel
thing.
you.
But getting through it, I became, like, severely depressed after it. Like, my whole life was kind of, like, turned upside down. I was in pain constantly. I just, like, recently finished up. This injury happened, like, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I just recently finished up all the treatments I needed to, like, kind of all the physical therapy, all, like, the different types of things I had to do. I just finished them up recently, like a month or two ago, and I'm feeling good. Like I don't have that pain anymore. It like controlled my life for a while, but I kind of just kept pushing and like didn't stop trying. Like I wasn't gonna give up. So I just kind of was like, I got to get better. I got to do this. Yeah, John Cena.
Yeah.
You can't say whatever I don't know
You never give up,
WWE
no.
much, but I saw you do that. You can't see me.
Can't see me.
But yeah, I just pushed
Would
through.
you, like, because I know when I go through something, like, bad, like, I'm always like, yo, like, I don't mean to, like, diminish or, like what happened to you, but have you ever considered, like, maybe making that idea into, like, some sort of film? Because, like, I know for me, like, when I want to do my work, the type of work I want to make, it's like, yes, have it be sad, but have it be sad so it can inspire people and help people feel like, yo, you're not the only person who's going through this.
Yeah.
So would you ever consider, like, making that type of story? And it doesn't even have to be, like, exactly, like, one-to-one, but something similar to that, like, some sort of movie or film, or, like, even write it for a script?
I actually, I didn't really think of it like that, but I did actually work on writing, like, I was into writing, like, short stories and, like, books as well, and that's something I also want to try to pursue further. But I did start writing a story about, like, a depressed kid who just, like, didn't know what to do, so he went into construction, and, like, he just was miserable. I also, like, I started working on it, and then it was kind of just I told my mom about it, and I showed her to it, and she's like, it's a little bit just like your story, like what you're living through right now. And that kind of made me think, and I was like, oh, because this was also before I got hurt. I was writing just because I was into writing anyway, so I was writing anyway. But I was just writing about, like, a depressed kid working construction, and so, like, I don't think I would, mainly because, like, I'm not a fan of being too serious. Like, earlier on, like, I've written stuff, like, that was serious, like dramas and like gangster stuff. I started writing a Western. I'm probably going to finish that just because I love Westerns. But for the most part, like, when it comes to writing and filming, I just have so much more fun and enjoy it so much more when it's comedy. Because, like, everyone who's involved is laughing. Everyone's smiling. Like, there's no, like, heavy emotion, And I'm also not a very emotional person. So, like, trying to tug at heartstrings isn't really my MO.
Yeah.
So I probably wouldn't, but it's not a horrible idea. It's like, I'm sure there are films out there, though, about, like, people who are going through, like, an injury, debilitating pain, and then, like, recovery. I'm sure there's films about that are out there, though.
Yeah. Sorry.
What's the question?
I was just looking at Demi.
What's the
He's just
question?
so pretty.
Okay.
But so on the topic of comedy, obviously light stalking was done. Stalking was done. And, you referred to Will Ferrell as your favorite actor. Now,
No,
like,
not Will Ferrell. It was as of
Colin?
recently Colin Farrell.
My fault.
Mainly because he has an amazing range. Like
Mm-hmm.
the characters he plays, I just feel like he always. When I saw him in Penguin, that's when like he really like skyrocketed
Yeah.
up because he transformed in every way possible,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like as good as an actor can be. Like being able to completely change who you are and like
somebody else.
visually, physically, like mentally, and like how are you gonna make me feel bad for the Penguin? Like he's a horrible person, and he managed to make me like care about that character and want him to like succeed.
yeah.
But I wouldn't say I have a favorite actor, but as of recently, he's the one. When you ask me a favorite actor, he's the one that pops up in my head 1st. If we're talking like a comedic actor, it's Tim Robinson or Charlie Day, though, for sure.
Luigi in the Mario movie, right?
He is Luigi in the
Yes,
Mario movie.
yes. I like, speaking of Colin Farrell, like I remember going into the Batman, like watching it, and like I was a little bit iffy on Colin Farrell because the only thing I knew him for was when he did like the 2007 Daredevil movie, and he played like Bullseye, and it was just like,
That
I
wasn't a
don't
good
know.
movie for anyone involved.
hey man, I enjoyed it. I liked it. I thought it was good. But like what's crazy is you didn't even know it was Colin Farrell. You know, like the makeup made him look like a totally different person, and also his acting too added on that layer of just like, if like he didn't have the makeup on, then maybe you'd know who this guy is, but like you genuinely just don't know, you know? And I feel like when actors can do that, like actors can just tap into their character like that and make them feel like an entirely different person from who they actually are. I think that's how you know, like, you just got it.
He completely transformed. And
Yeah.
like he's also amazing in like The Gentleman. That's a Guy Ritchie movie I love, and he's probably my favorite character in that movie. I just feel like everything I've seen him in, like he's in another movie like The Lobster, Banshees of something Shire, just everything he's in. Oh, Seven Psychopaths. That's one of my favorites too. He's just in so much stuff, and he has such a range of characters that he does, and I just feel like every time like he really hones in, and I'm just a big fan of him.
No, I get it. I mean, Demi, like, since you're an actor and stuff, like, I know, like, changing into characters is not easy. You know?
Yeah,
I'm sure it's difficult.
100%. Like the recent show I'm doing right now, well, the opening night is tonight. Military, police, that. Like just knowing how to walk like a police. I'm taking a policeman walk like this, like holding their pants, just shaking it like this. Like even like trying to figure out how they walk, how they talk, you know what I'm saying? Or just having that like, that swagger, because like a cop has a swag to come with it. So like trying to figure that out. It wasn't hard, but it was like definitely easy to get to than other roles you have to play that hopefully I get to play definitely at Five Towns College. Definitely trying to like put yourself in that position, like being a military police. It was definitely different than what I thought I knew. You have to have like that type of swag.
I feel like it's so easy to make the character all about you when, you know, you're like, you're playing it, because it's like you try and find yourself in these characters, but sometimes it's just like you make it all about you, when you got to realize that like it's not all you. This character is an actual character outside of you. Now, how can you become that character? You know? And I also feel like it's like up to the directors to help with that as well, you know? Because I feel like if you're directing this person, how are you directing them? Like, what type of notes are you giving them to help elevate their character more? You know? So, Frank, I know you've worked on a couple of things. I don't know as a director, but I know as a PA, like on set, what have you seen, like, when it comes to certain types of directors, like talking to their actors or even their PAs, you know?
When I was on sets, like as a PA, I usually didn't see when the actors and directors were discussing like things going on, because when you're a PA, you're running around 24/7. Like people are just calling out things on a walkie-talkie, and you're just like on it, and you just go and move. But it is important for a director to kind of know, kind of exactly what they want this actor to portray, because you gotta kind of hone in on it. Something like an example I like to look at is Tarantino. He he was an actor. He tried to be an actor, but he was terrible at it, and he took a bunch of acting classes. But everything he learned from that, he couldn't go into acting because it just wasn't
sucked.
in him. He didn't look like an actor. He wasn't like the stereotypically handsome person. He didn't have like the voice. He didn't have any of that. But he used everything learned from that to kind of help him direct. Like I think that's what helped make him such a good director.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know all the best tips. Like I've directed a few like shorts with one of my friends here, and it's not easy directing, I don't think, but it's also you just gotta try to like help the actor find that like emotion or like personality they're trying to portray. Like I don't know that much about it just yet. I haven't even taken a directing class here yet. I'm hoping to take that soon, but I know acting is very hard, and
100%.
a director's job is to assist that actor in any way and kind of push them to be the best that they can be.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like
Acting is not just playing pretend on stage. Acting is being that character and telling a story.
yeah. Most definitely. And I feel like it depends on the, because you could have the best actor in the world, you know, like you could have like an all-star lineup of a cast, you know, but if the director is like whack and he's not giving you the desired notes that are going to elevate the movie in the place that it should be, good actors can only take you so far, you know. And I feel like it takes a good director to put you in a place where you can like act better, because honestly I've seen films where the acting is like subpar, but the directing and like the way it's shot, the way it's written makes it to where like it's just a great movie, you know. It elevates it from a 4 to like a 7. You know. And I wanted to know like what directors or like what even like cinematographers or just people in that type of industry inspire you to like just keep making and keep going.
Early on, probably if I had to pull inspiration, it was definitely from like Tarantino and Guy Ritchie. I love their like crime like feels with also just like some levity to it. Like Guy Ritchie, he was really good at making like crime comedies, I'd say. And Tarantino is Tarantino. I won't delve too much into that because like I'm a huge fan of him, but I'd say they were like my biggest inspirations like when first going into it. But as of recently, now that I'm leaning more towards comedy, a lot of my inspiration has come from like Charlie Day and like his frantic writing of characters, and Tim Robinson with his like obscene and just like odd characters, like just kind of mashing those together. I have a lot of fun with just watching both of them on screen and watching what they create. So I'd say those are like my biggest inspirations when it comes to writing. When it comes to like cinematography, I'm gonna space out on any names to be honest, but I like if you look at like any Western film, the landscape shots are like so beautiful, and that's something like visually I've always been a big fan of. I like going hiking and taking photos while I go hiking, so I think that probably came from me just loving watching like Clint Eastwood and like the Fistful of Dollars trilogy, or just stuff like that. I think those like landscape shots are just always beautiful.
Yeah.
So I think like when it comes to visuals, I'd probably say it comes from like John Ford and Sergio Leone, and I know those guys aren't the cinematographers; those guys are the directors of their respective films. But I love like a beautiful landscape. So like visually, those kind of shots are just too good, you know.
So, you know, those are your inspirations. How do you implement their work into your work?
Trial and error, I guess. When it comes to like the photos, I'd say it's just I don't know actually. It's a good question. I'm trying to think more in depth on it, but when it comes to like the photography, cinematography bit, it's all about like framing. And I think I just like, if I see beauty in nature, that's where I'm like, okay, that's where this shot is going to be. And I'll frame it in my mind. I'll take out my camera and I'll frame it like that. Granted, though, like I'm not in like Western Plains. I'm in like on Long Island on like some trails, or upstate on a trail. Like it's more mountainous.
Yeah.
And more foliage, but it all comes down to just like I guess like visual beauty and kind of falling for that, I'd say.
You know, that's how it. I mean, nature is like the biggest inspiration when it comes to just getting shots. You know, like just when you go outside, you touch some grass, you see a nice location, and you're just like,
or just the sky itself.
It's
just
beautiful.
The sky, you know what I'm saying?
It's like a painting when you look up there with all the clouds.
Yo, I say that all the time. I'll be in the car with my mama, and I'll be chilling. I'm like, yo, ma, the sky looks like a painting. I remember she looked at me one time. She said, "Are you high?" I'm like, no. I just like the sun and the sky. And she's like, okay.
Yeah.
But
you off the greens.
Huh?
You off
Absolutely
the green
not. I would never.
That's what your mama said.
I one time, and then she never asked me about it again. But knowing your past, right? You've done a disarray. Like you've done a lot of things. Like that had nothing. Like that had some to do with creative, like film things, but like it was like, from what you've told me, from what I remember, like it's kind of on the side of like blue collar, like construction working, you know, things of that nature. What brought you to like the creative side of things when it came to like filmmaking and stuff? And what made you like want to disconnect?
The creative side was always there. Like even when I was a kid, like when I was really young, I just loved drawing, and I always wanted to be an animator. Like that, and then I was always writing as a kid. Like you'd watch like those like stop motion videos of like Legos and stuff like that. So I would do that when I was young. So it was always there, but I just kind of didn't pursue it because I guess at the time I didn't take it seriously enough. And so since I didn't take like what I was truly passionate about seriously, I kind of jumped around and just tried a few different things. Like my dad's a plumber, and since a young age, he taught me how to use like every tool, how to do a bunch of different stuff. So I was like, you know what, it's a safe route because I already have more knowledge than other people that just jump right into it. And I had other friends who were working in HVAC, so I was just like, hey, I'll also do it. You know, I was not a fan of the school I was going to at the time. I wasn't a fan of what I was doing. So I was like, you know what, let me give it a shot. And I did. And I enjoyed it for the most part, but it also just, you can tell when you're doing something that you don't want to do, like something's missing. And it's just like, I felt like something was missing. So I tried something else. And every time it just felt like something was missing. Once I eventually came here, it finally clicked, like nothing's missing. Now it's just, I work hard and pursue what I need to do, create things, get things done, network, and just, you know, build relationships with the people in this industry, you know?
You're 19, right?
No, I'm not. I'm actually 22.
He's Unk.
Yeah,
he's Unk.
I have Unk status, as I've been told.
Yeah, he's Unk.
Yeah, I came back to school a little late, but...
And there's nothing wrong with that. That I feel like something like that when you're 22 and you come into... You're a freshman, right?
I'm a sophomore.
I feel like when it comes to stuff like that, I feel like it shows people you could wait. If you don't feel like college is for you right now, it could be for you the next couple of years. You can wait, you know what I'm saying? I feel like you and a lot of people I know are the definition of that. That is crazy. You are 22, man.
We have veterans here that come to the school and they're like 30 and over. Yeah. Like people come out of the military and then they're like, you know what? I did my time. I served my country, and now I'm not one of them, but I'm friends with a few of them here, and they come back, and you know, it just shows. Like when I first came here, I was like, oh, I'm like one of the older guys. It feels weird being back.
Absolutely not.
Oh my God.
That's what I thought, and then I met like James, for example.
He's a friend of ours.
Yeah, great person. Like one of those like stand-up
fellow
guys.
film major, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
And he's like one of my favorite people. He was in the Air Force. He got out.
James, I'm trying to see if I can.
I don't think you've ever met him.
I don't think. No.
Yeah, but he's another person that it's like, I like immediately connected with him because we both were just a little bit older and had a little bit more experience outside of like the education world.
Yeah.
So both of us coming back to it was an interesting thing. But like people, and there's another guy here, Alex, he makes music, and he's also a veteran, and he came here. I became friends with him. This is a great school for people of like any age or group that you want to come back. If I came here when I was like 18 straight out of high school, I wouldn't have stayed. Like, I already know it for a fact. At that age, I wasn't mature enough, and I wasn't, I'd say mentally or like in maturity sense, like in the right place to be in school. Once I really like went out in the world and learned a bit more, that I think that's when it clicked for me. I was like, okay, school might actually be good for me. And now I'm here and I feel like I'm in my right place at the right time. Everybody's different.
Yeah. I mean, I totally understood what you were saying when it was like you were trying all these different things and you just felt like empty inside, and like you've definitely felt like something was missing. Like that's how I felt. Like I was always making videos like on YouTube or whatever, but that's how I always felt when it came to like doing other things outside of it. Like when I was in front of the camera and talking and speaking like and editing, I was like, yo, I'm like, yeah, like this, nothing else is missing, you know? But when I was like doing other stuff, like when I was playing basketball, like high school team, and I was discussing with my coach if I wanted to go to college for it, I knew like, not really. Like, it's just like, I don't see myself going this way, you know?
Same thing with me. Like when I was younger and I said I wanted to be a doctor, my mom would always bring it up. I was like, in my head, I'd be like, I don't really want to be a doctor. Why did I say that? What's wrong with me? Why would I lie like that? Not why would I lie like that, but I was like, why did I say that? I don't even want to be a doctor. And then I realized high school, that's why I always be grateful for high school. High school made me realize, like, nah, you got to do what you want to do. You can't just go do because you going to make someone else happy. You got to follow your own passion. So, like, man, like I always tell this story. I know I've said this story so much on this radio show, and y'all probably sick of me telling this story, but I'm going to keep saying it. Like, the moment
Nurse.
Nurse. I was going to be a nurse. I was going to be a doctor. I was going to cut people up. You was going to be all right. You wasn't going to be perfect, but you was going to be all right. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Demi. You know, he's going to come back. He's going to come back with an arm. Maybe not both, but an arm. I promise you an arm. You know what I'm saying? But, like, after... I've never told the story. I did
want to tell it?
Yeah, why not?
I would love to hear it.
I did an audition for this guy in my school. He asked me, "Oh, can you sing?" I said, "Yeah, a little bit." Right. So I did an audition for him, and he said, and I did "Just a Dream" by Nelly. That's why I love that song so much, because like that was the first time I did an audition was that song, and then when I auditioned for him, I did that song, and I did that song, and like I put my heart out to it. I was like, you know what I'm saying? And then he was like, "You got good vocals." He said something like, "Your voice is good," and like it was to be in like choir, but I was like, I don't really want to do that. I don't want to be in a choir, honestly. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then after that but audition, I was like, that's when I told my mom. That's the day I told my mom. I told my mom audition, and I told her, I was like, Mom, I think I told my mom I want to be a singer, right? But like I knew, but like obviously acting, like I wanted to do it all. I wanted to do everything in the entertainment business. You know what I'm saying? So I told my mom that, and she was like, what? You know what I'm saying? She didn't say. I don't think she was not upset about it, but she was definitely like caught off guard with it.
I feel like,
and
as like we got Unc over here, you know, like as being younger guys, we have that little like, oh man, I gotta tell my mom like this is what I really want to do. You know, that parent pressure. Yeah. You know, being an older guy, when you realize like what you wanted to do, was it a concern of like, man, like I gotta tell my parents about this, or like, or what if my parents don't approve, or was it just like, I'm gonna do this, you know, and nobody can really stop me when it comes to it?
I talk to my mom about everything. My mom is probably my best friend.
Real.
And my mom has always been extremely supportive of like every decision I make. She's always like, she's always helped me like kind of plan things out and kind of find the right headspace for things. And I'm very grateful for her for that. She was very supportive of me going back to school and pursuing this, because she also was very supportive when I was getting jobs on sets. The first check I ever got from them, it came in the mail, and she wrote all over the envelope saying like first check in the business, like stuff like that. And she put it in a frame that I had in my room. It's no longer in a frame, but my mom has always been very supportive and like pushed me to be creative, because she has always seen that side of me. My dad, he was never against it. He always has been just the person who's like, you got to be careful, this, that.
Yeah.
He makes good points. He's cautious. But this was one thing where it was like, he knew I wasn't happy where I was at. And he said to me when I was talking to him about it, he was like, he thought it was the right move for me. Like, he truly believed it. And he also helped me. Like, he was the one where I was expecting, like, I was going to get like a lecture or some kind of discussion about that. But I really didn't. And he was also very supportive. Both of my parents were just very supportive about it. And I was going to do it no matter what. But once, like, both of them kind of locked in on that and were like, this is definitely what's best for you. Like,
Yeah.
And now my dad, he even says to me, like, I don't live with him, but every weekend, me and him go out and we have lunch and hang out and just, like, kind of talk. And he says to me every time, like, as of recently, he's like, you're just so much happier now. Like, I see, like, it just in your eyes and the way you hold yourself. It's just like, you're, like, out of that funk. You found your place.
Yeah.
And, like, my dad is very supportive. So is my mom. They're both great. You know?
Yeah.
I feel like you'll never forget the first person that always supported you. Like, I'll never forget it. Like, I remember the first person that ever supported me, I think it was my brother. It was definitely my brother.
Of course.
Or my sister. It was my brother, and then, like, after that was my sister. My brother's always, like, supported my dream. My brother even told me this, like, if he wasn't a car mechanic, he would have been in this industry as well. But, like, I really do, like, appreciate my brother for that. And, like, I always, like, will love my brother. I low-key, I'm not even gonna lie, after Steve Harvey, before Steve Harvey, like, my brother is someone I very much look up to. And I hope he's watching this, listening to this right now. You know, you just want to tell you, bro, I love you, man. And, like, I really, like, look up to my brother. Like,
I feel like,
generally do.
Like, I feel like this is, like, that's the whole reason we say, like, on this podcast, like, follow your dreams, you know, because it's like, again, said it many times before, either way, you're going to end up broke. You know, either way, you're going to end up broke. You're going to end up maybe somewhere where it's difficult. And it's like, if you're doing something difficult, but it's what you love to do,
Who gonna stop you?
Like, exactly. Like,
Would you rather be rich doing something you hate, or make money, maybe not balling, but make money, but doing something you love, waking up every day and be like, yes, I get to go do this today, yes.
You know?
Then being like, all right.
But I see that's why I bring up the parents, you know, because a lot of people, like, even adults, you know, like, they fall into this, like, I can't do it because, you know, my mom said this, that, and the third. And then they just lose their passion, you know?
Yeah.
So when it's like, when you're following what you want to do and you know that's what you want to do, like, I feel like it makes those hard times, like, easier to get out of.
Yeah.
Because then you're realizing, oh, I want to be a writer. Like, this is all on me.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm going to write it, and I don't care who gets in my way, if it gets hard, if it gets difficult, you know, just keep going and you'll get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was definitely clip farming with that last, like, little sentence right there. I'm gonna end the clip right there.
But I respect that. Like, you gotta follow you cannot, man. Let me tell you something. What this song T.I. and Rihanna have, live your life the way you want to live it. Don't live it for somebody else.
Yeah.
If you living it for somebody else, bro, at the end of the day, you're benefiting them more than you're benefiting yourself.
And it doesn't even benefit them that much.
Exactly.
You know?
It's
Like,
like, okay.
it's low stakes for them. It's higher stakes for you.
Exactly.
Like, the way I see it is we all end up in the dirt one day. So, like, why are
Exactly.
you going to live your life miserable for other people? Like, you got to look out for number one.
Exactly.
Obviously, look out for others. Be a good human being. But, you know, you got to, like, you're not going to be capable of helping others if you don't help yourself.
You gotta be selfish.
A little bit, yeah.
be
You
selfish
gotta have a
sometimes.
level of, like, selfishness, especially in this industry, dog. Yo, like, I know we said it on last week's podcast with I'm not even gonna try and say her name because I know if she hears this, she's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
But she knows. But we were talking about it last, like, week that, like, yo, you have to come into it with, like, if you're directing, writing, filmmaking, acting, producing, like, you have to come into it with a level of, like, yo, I know what I'm doing. I know why I'm here. Like, a level of ego to give yourself some stake so then you don't get, like, immediately stepped on when someone's like, back up, pal. You know,
Yeah.
like, you have to push back a little bit when it comes to this stuff, because if you're just, oh, well, I don't know, or like, oh, well, you can have him. Oh, no, I don't know. You know, you're going to get eaten, you know, especially in this type of industry.
And you got to be able to say, listen, people want to be in this industry. You have to be able to say no. You have to say no. Sometimes you might not want to do it. Sometimes you got to say no. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes there's a role you don't want to play it. You got to say no. If you really want to play it, play it. But if you don't want to play it, you have to say no. Ain't no. You shouldn't let anyone force you in playing a role or doing what you don't want to do. You have to like stand your ground in this industry, and like it's hard. You know what I'm saying? It's hard because like people, here the stories we've heard, people just getting taken advantage of in this industry, and you don't even know it. But you see them on camera, you thinking they happy, but then behind the scenes it's something totally different. And they're like, it's a thing like you have to stand your ground in this industry, and if you don't, people like you said will walk all over you and step on you like you're a piece of trash.
You can't be a pushover.
Yeah,
You really can't.
you cannot be a pushover.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if you've had to deal with it, Frank, like being in this sort of field, but I know I definitely have, where it's like, hey, I don't know if you're going to be able to do this. And I could have easily just been like, well, I guess maybe I shouldn't. No, it's like, well, what do I have to do this, you know? And then I'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know if you've had to deal with that, Frank, especially from a filmmaking perspective.
I really haven't hit too many like walls like that. I'm sure I will, where I run into things where it's like I got to either stand my ground or fold. I'm sure that will come. As of recently, I can't think of anything that came up. I mean, when I was a PA, there was this one shoot we were doing, and it was a riot scene, and we had fake riot police to play like actors, and then we had like onlookers in this park called the real police. So real riot police came out. And I had to, one of our riot police forgot their like belt with their like rubber prop firearm. And I had to go across the street into the church where we were storing everything, go to the prop department and get that for him. And I had to pass like a line of like real police officers that thought there was a riot going on, holding like, you know, at a distance, it looks like a real pistol. So that's probably something where I should have been like, I'm not comfortable, but I also just didn't want to not do it. I wanted to make sure everything was perfect. So I actually like, I was parked around the corner. So I sprinted over there, grabbed a sling bag out of my car, ran into the church, put it in there, ran back through the park to the people, and then opened it up that way. I kind of had to use my brain so that I didn't accidentally make police think I was a crazy man wielding a weapon.
Right.
Bro, honestly, like when you're filming movies, man, sometimes people don't know. You know, some people think it's like real. Like I know when I filmed things, like if you didn't let people know like around you, like, hey, I'm gonna be doing this, like I promise you everything's all right, like people will call the cops. You know, like people will like get genuinely concerned. You know, and I don't know how the police. What? I don't even want to know.
Because you said you was in the movie, and then you did this.
Oh, yeah. But yeets. But it was the Spielberg thing from 2 days ago. Yeah.
How was that?
It was good. It was really good. Steven Spielberg was so sweet. He sounded like a grandpa who just like is gonna bake you cookies and pack you some for lunch. You know, he was so sweet. I remember I had to be there.
The grandpa's gonna bake you cookies and pack it for
Hey,
lunch.
bro, look, he was so sweet on the microphone. He was like, guys, you guys are so good. You guys are so great. And I'm like, dang, Spielberg, I thought you'd be meaner. No, he was like, he had the sweetest tone. But I had to be there at like 4 a.m. was my call time. And no, not call time, but like I had to wake up at 4 a.m. and be there by like 5:30. And they served us breakfast over there.
Was it
breakfast,
good?
you know.
God is great.
Huh?
God is great.
All the time. But
Wait, was the breakfast good? No, you didn't answer.
no, it was good.
Yeah,
it was good. But yeah, and they put me in hair and makeup, made me look like I just walked out of a preparatory school. It made me look like I walked out of a place called Briarwood.
Did they give you an outfit?
No, they just told me to keep the outfit I had on.
Oh, okay.
So then we made our way into the ring, and there were like 2 giant dudes like in the ring already, and I was like, bro, like these guys are like
huge.
Like they're like, bro. One guy was like shorter than me, but his width was like twice my size. You know? So we were there and they were just like, "Hey guys, we're going to give you cues on when to rise up and when to sit down." And I was like, easy, you know? So I was popping every time they needed me to pop, and I was sitting every time they needed me to sit. And then when we were done, we came back to the hall we were in. They gave us some like dinner, and I just went home. It was a great experience.
They took you back home?
Yeah, they had like a bus,
Yeah.
and they like dropped us off like near a train station.
Yeah.
And I took like one of them.
Yeah.
You know, but it was, yo, being on set, being on set was like really good. Like, I don't know if you guys ever had that like experience of being like, I know Frank being a PA, you know,
Yeah.
obviously like on like a real set.
I want to be on a real
like,
set so bad.
but it's like completely different from like a student set, you know? Like I've been on a lot of student sets with a lot of student films, and there was like a visual difference, you know, and like a professional difference too, when it comes to like, this is what we're going to be doing. This is when we're going to be doing it. All right, guys, like it was people running around everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was people like doing like 20 million things at the same time on a professional set, you know, when I feel like on student sets, it's just like 5 guys and they're like, "Hey guys, let's just shoot this scene right here," you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Frank, I know like you've also been on both. Like,
Yeah.
what's the difference that you've seen?
It depends on the people you're working with. I'd say like when I was on other sets, I felt like it was like the stakes were high.
Yeah.
That's how it always felt for me.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I always felt like I had to prove myself. Which anytime I'm doing anything new or stepping into something, I always feel like, all right, I got to prove myself. Like first things first, like do my best.
Yeah.
And just make sure everybody's happy with me.
100%.
Here, I try to keep that same standard where it's like the people here are the people that like I'll probably work with in the future after we all graduate, you know, like
Yeah.
you and I will probably work on projects together.
Oh, definitely.
And all of our other friends will probably work together. It's a community. So I
I'm gonna be in that
honestly look
project.
at it.
Huh? I was about to say
Yeah,
me,
you
you,
will
and
be.
Meech.
You and me. We're gonna be on that. I'm gonna be on that project. I'm gonna be on
course.
that project. I'm gonna be acting while
You
y'all
were-
telling me, hey, do that better.
You were so close to cursing, bro. We're about to get kicked off
I
the
was
air.
this close. I'm not gonna lie. But you know what? God is great.
God is great.
God is
but
great.
Keep going, Frank. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I was just saying I try to hold those same stakes to everything. Like even here, like I'm not gonna work on someone here's project and be like, it's a student project. I don't care. It's like their like midterm project. I don't care. I'm not gonna play it like that, you know, because
Treat every project equal.
exactly in this industry, all you really have is your reputation, and I'm not gonna build a reputation as someone who's gonna not try. Like I'm going to try for anybody, whether you're my friend or you're my classmate or if you're my boss. Like I'm gonna try and I'm gonna do everything how you say you want it. And I'm gonna, you know, and that's what everyone here should be doing, because there's some people who might not. They might be at school. You know, I can give it leeway and not really give it my all. You know, it doesn't matter. But it does matter, because these people are the same people who are either going to recommend you for a job when they're working, and
Yeah.
people say like, "Oh, we need a grip," and someone's gonna be like, "Oh, I know somebody. This guy was great when we did this project. You should hire them." And that's how you get jobs. It's all through like reputation, word of mouth. So like if you don't have work ethic, you're not really gonna make it anywhere here. You know, like the school isn't gonna do anything for you if you just walk out with paper. And not, you know, the connections, the projects, and the experiences that you're going to work on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I say I give it all, you know, whether
Word.
it was past shoots or shoots here, I give it everything.
All right. Okay. So we like to do this thing while wrapping up the podcast right now, or radio show. Excuse me. Sorry. Radio show. Where we like to give off. Demetrius likes to give Meech. Sorry.
Yeah.
He likes to give inspirational quotes. I like to give Bible verses. But before we get into that, Frank, is there anything inspirational you would like to tell our viewers before you go?
I don't have anything inspirational to say, but I'll say my favorite saying I like to use is we'll burn that bridge when we get there.
Okay.
I know that's not the right way of saying it, but it's my favorite thing, so I might as well share that.
All right. Why?
Don't worry now, burn it later, you know?
So it's just not to worry.
It's just like, you know, like we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like in film, I feel like a lot of things go wrong.
Yeah.
So that's what you say, like you're burning a bridge when something's going bad. So you're like, we'll burn that bridge when we get there.
You know what?
That's what I say every time I'm on a set and there's a question about something coming up.
Yeah.
That's real. We'll take it.
We'll take it.
We
man.
will take it.
We'll take it.
Thank you, Frank. All right, Meech.
Yeah.
Want to go first?
Destroy the boat.
I think that's saying
That's the
burn
quote?
the boat, actually.
I was gonna
That's
say
from Art
destroy,
of
you gotta
War.
you gotta destroy that boat. If you, Charles told me the story in the car. He was
Frank
an
Charles. He's also acting major.
acting major.
Right.
He's coming next week's episode actually.
Mm.
So he told me this quote in the car. I was talking to him. He said, I was asking him, in life, do you think it's important to have a backup plan if you know what you want to do? He said, if you go on a land, the only way that's going to get you to that land is the boat. So for you, and if you want to be on that land, for you not to want to leave that land, you have to destroy the boat. So for you wanting to be successful in what you do or follow your dreams and passion, you can't think of, not saying don't have a backup plan, but you can't, if this is what you want for your life, this is what you want to do for the rest of your life, you know that you need to focus on this. This is all you need to focus on. Don't worry about anything. If this is all you love to do,
Yeah.
you got to focus on it. Don't worry about this, that, the third. Worry about what you want to do. Destroy that boat of, oh, I need to do this, or I need to learn something else. Even though I want to do this, but I need to learn something else. Like destroy that boat of I need to learn something else and focus on what you want to do. Because if this is your dream, this is your passion, this is your goal, this is your life, I promise you, no one's gonna stop you, and you are going to be the best at it.
That's tough.
And you
I
know,
mess with that a lot. That's actually very relatable.
I
You know?
appreciate that.
My verse.
that, Adrian.
No problem, man. Here we go. It's okay. Yeah. Let it out. You're good. You're good. Yeah. Sorry, Frank. He just, you know.
And this guy's an actor?
Hey.
I'm so sorry. That was mean. That was so mean. I'm so sorry.
That was so mean. What the heck? You trying to say that was that bad?
I'm just messing with you. I'm
Fine. They're laughing at you? Who's laughing over there?
So my verse comes from Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5-6. It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. So basically what this means is when times get tough and when times get hard, you know, and you don't understand what's going on or why you're feeling this way or why this specific event happened, you're not going to get anything out of it if you just keep trying to understand it for yourself when there's no real rational answer.
Yeah.
I know in the faith that me and Demetrius follow, we have to lean on God and Jesus because in the Bible, it speaks of Jesus and God being all good. So if this happens, it happens for a reason, and God put it in our lives for a reason. So we can't lean on our own understanding. We got to lean on God's understanding and God's know-how and God's future that he has for us.
Yeah.
You know? But with that being said, this has been...
But we got 4 more minutes.
We do. So...
Let's not wrap it up yet.
Filler. Yeah, Frank. Once again, just thanks for coming on here, man.
Thank
Really
you for having
appreciate
me. I'm
you.
sorry if I talked a lot. I don't
You're
know how this
good.
stuff works.
Brother,
in
you
my
have.
house.
Don't even worry about
You're
it.
the guest. We have to ask you a
Sure.
question. Would you
Yeah.
come back? Would you come back?
Yeah, if you guys wanted me to come back, I enjoy both of your company, so just
Appreciate that.
I don't mind coming back. I'd have fun.
I can't wait
Yo.
for the first guest to be like, no. I'm really waiting for that first guest to be like, I don't think so.
Absolutely not. I hate you guys.
Listen, House of Blue Leaves is this week.
House of Blue Leaves.
I'm the military police. If you want to see me in an outfit, if you want to see a man in an outfit, come watch the House of Blue Leaves.
Yes.
I'm getting a haircut today, so
Yeah.
I'm about to look fresh. You know,
fly
I'm about to look so fly. So come this week, House of Blue Leaves. Today sold out. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, come support, come show
Of course.
some love. Adrian's not coming because he does not like me, and
Whoa.
he literally told me he does
Hey
not like
now.
me. That's why he's not coming. So
I
you know,
love you.
no.
man.
You literally said to me, you don't like me. You're not coming to watch the show. It's all right though. I'm cool with that. It's fine.
Not
Cool,
cool, Adrian.
Right? It's not cool, Adrian. That's cool though. You know what? That's what I'm talking about. Anyways,
He's capping.
I'm not capping. Do I look like I lie? Put the camera on my face. Do I look like I lie?
Look at the camera, bro.
You're an actor.
Am I
You're
lying?
paid
Am
to
I
lie.
lying? Am I smiling? Am I smiling? Am I smiling? Am I smiling? Am I smiling?
You're paid to lie, I just want to say. You're an actor.
Yeah, wait, yeah, you can't do that. You're an actor.
Would I lie? Yes, you would lie.
I'm not a lie. Am I lying right now? Yo, you know what's crazy? It sounds so bad. I used to use that as a thing, like, bro, I'm an actor. You know what I'm saying? And they used to be like, huh? They used to be like, someone used to look at me like crazy, like, what? What'd you just say? Like, if like, you know, I'm an actor, you know, I'm a good liar.
That's crazy. All right, Frank, quick.
That's
what
bad.
things are you working on, and what do you got going on? Quickly before we wrap.
My YouTube channel with my good friend Robert Hofer.
Yep.
We are Raise the Rent TV on YouTube, and we recently just filmed our second skit, and we just finished up editing it, and we'll most likely post it soon. I'm also working with some other students on their projects, which I won't put too much detail into it because it's not mine to talk about. But Rob and I plan on doing a lot of stuff. So
That's fire.
Yeah.
That is fire.
Unk.
All right.
Unk. Hey, Unk. You're right, my bad.
All right, y'all. Thank you for listening to AM
Entertainers.
You lost it, bro. We were not on the
AM Entertainers. AM Entertainers. Why are you hating? Why are you hating?
He just losing it. I don't know where he's going.
Entertainers. And she's just looking at us crazy, bro. Entertainers. You gotta play the song. You gotta play it before we go. You gotta play that song right now. You gotta play that.
Entertainers.
Entertainers.